Okay, so number one here, we've got x. Whoa, that's really thick. Okay, so we've got x plus 2y is greater than negative 2. So I'm solving for y, which means I'm going to have to subtract this x. And I always, when I move that x over, I'm going to put it in front of the minus 2. All right, and then I have to get y by itself, so I divide by 2. You got to make sure you divide everything by 2. So right here you've got negative 1 over 2. And then negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So now you've got your y by itself. The slope is negative 1/2. And the y-intercept is negative 1. All right, since this is y is greater than, you're going to shade above. And since there's not an equal to bar underneath your inequality symbol, that means you'll have a dotted line. So we're going to start at negative 1 on the y-axis. And remember, if this is negative, put the negative on top and say down 1, right 2. So we're going to go down 1, right 2. And remember, you guys only need, 2 dots, but I need more than that to make my straight line. Okay, so we're going to have a dotted line. And make sure you go all the way across. And then you're going to shade above. So that would be all of this. Okay. Number 2. So 5x plus y is less than or equal to negative 5. So I'm going to solve for y by subtracting 5. And remember, every time you move that x over there, you want it to stay in like a slope-intercept format. So keep that x in front. So you have a negative 5x, and then your 5 up here is negative. And now y is by itself. So identify your slope. That's negative 5, and then to make it a fraction, we put it over 1. And then you've got your y-intercept is negative 5. Since this is y is less than, you're going to shade below. And because there's an equal to, that means your line's going to be solid. So I'm going to start at negative 5. All right, and this is where I think some of you will get tripped up. This is negative 5 over 1, which means you're going to go down 5, right 1, because we always run right, correct? So you can't go down 5. So instead of going down 5 and right 1, you're going to go up 5, left 1. So just change both of them. So up 5, left 1. All right, and then you've got a solid line. And you're shading below. Just all of this stuff over here to the left. All right, number 3 is where we're starting the systems. All right, so let's start with this first one. So we've got to solve for y. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract the 5x. So I've got negative 3y. Whoa, I hate when that happens. 3y is greater than or equal to. Always put the x in front. So you've got a negative 5x. And then this 6 is negative. Then you're going to divide by -3. Now remember, when you take that number and divide by it, if it's a negative number, you have to flip the inequality symbol. So now, instead of being greater than, it is less than. Then you have a -5 divided by a -3 is a +5/3x. And a -6 divided by a -3 is a +2. So now that y is alone, identify your slope. It's 5/3. And your y-intercept is 2. All right. Since this y is less than, you're going to shade below. And since you have the equal to bar, you'll have a solid line. So we're going to start at 2. And we're supposed to go up 5 and right 3. But we can't go up 5, correct? So instead of going up 5 and right 3, we're going to go down 5 and left 3. So down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 3. And then you're going to have a solid line. And you're going to shade below. Now remember, on these ones where you're going to do double shading, you want to shade pretty light. That way, when you have your double shaded region, you can make it darker. All right, there's that one. So now let's do the bottom one. Is x minus 3y is greater than 6. So we're going to solve for y. We subtract x. We have -3y is greater than -x plus 6. Then you got to divide by that -3. And remember, when you divide by a negative, that's this one on the bottom, you're going to flip that sign up there. So now you have a less than. This is a -1 over -3, so that would be a +1 over 3. And 6 divided by -3, -2. All right, so your slope is 1 over 3. Your y-intercept is -2. Since y is less than, you will shade below. And since there's no equal to bar, you have a dotted line. All right, so let's start with our y-intercept at -2. And then we're going to go up 1, right 3. So up 1, right 3. Then you got a dotted line. And you're shading. Do we say below? But remember, on systems, the only part that matters is the double shaded part, right? So you want to make that darker. So the part where they're both shaded is this dingy looking part right here, which is all of this, right? So make sure you darken that in so I make sure I can tell that you know that's your answer. All right, so I've got x plus 3. Whoa. There it went again. X, and I said plus 3. X plus y is greater than or equal to 3. So I solve for y by subtracting x. So I get y is greater than or equal to -x plus 3. So now that y is isolated, your slope is -1, make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And then your y-intercept is 3. Since y is greater than, you're going to shade above. And since you have the equal to bar, you will have a solid line. So, 3. So we would be going down 1, right 1. So down and right. But instead we're going to go up 1, left 1. And if you have to write it down, then write it down. Okay, and then we've got a solid line. And you're shading above. You can shade farther if you want to. Okay. Let's do the other one. So we've got 3x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 4. So we'll subtract the 3x. So we have negative 2y is greater than or equal to, put the x in the front, so negative 3x, and 4 is positive. Then you're going to divide by negative 2. And when you divide by that negative, you have to remember to flip. And then you have a negative 3 over a negative 2, which makes a positive 3 over 2 times x. And then 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So your slope is 3 over 2. Y-intercept is negative 2. Since y is less than, you will shade below. And since you have an equal to bar, it will be a solid line. So we're going to start at negative 2. We're going to go up 3, right 2. So up 3, right 2. Then you've got a solid line. And you are shading below. So that would be this part, right? But the only part that we really want to focus on, right, is the double shaded region. Those are all of the points that will work in both. So I want to make sure that I color that in darker because that's my actual solution. All right, so we've got 4. Do that every time. 4x plus y is less than negative 3. So I'm going to subtract the 4x. And I'm going to make sure I put that in the front. So I've got negative 4x minus 3. So my slope is negative 4. And I'm going to make it a fraction by putting it over 1. My y-intercept is negative 3. Since y is less than, I'm going to shade below. And there's no equal to bar, so that means I'll have a dotted line. So I'm going to start at negative 3. And I should be going down 4, right 1. But I can't go down 4, it's too far. So instead of going down 4, I'm going to go up 4 and left 1. All right, I have a dotted line. And then I'm going to shade below. Okay, for the other one, I've got 2x minus y is greater than or equal to negative 3. I'm going to subtract the 2x. And don't forget that right up here you've got a negative with that y. I have a feeling some people could forget about it. So I have negative 2x minus 3 over here. So I have to get rid of that negative, so I'm going to divide by negative 1. And when you divide by negative 1, you have to flip your symbol. So negative 2x divided by negative 1 would be positive 2x. And negative 3 divided by negative 1 is positive 3. Your slope is 2, but you're going to make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And then your y-intercept is 3. Since y is less than, you'll shade below. And you'll have a solid line since you have the equal to bar. So I'm going to start at 3. And I'm going to go up 2, right 1. Or down 2, left 1. Then you have a solid line. And you shade below the line. Oh, I kind of went over, didn't I? Alright, but the only part that matters to us is the part where they are overlapping, which would be this part right here.